Hold on. Can you hear me, Nick?
Yeah. It says we're live.
Does it say we're live? It says live on your end?
Yeah, it says live 18, counting up 19. 20 seconds live now.
Oh, man. I've been just sitting here twiddling my thumbs, and we've been live for this whole time. Nick, hello. What's up?
Dude, Friday.
We're pumped about it. So neither of us are running this race, but it's fun to just look at these maps. This is interesting because there's not really any hills. Have you looked at this yet?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's a Colorado race with no hills in it.
No hills. What is the you have a better look at the elevation map. My old eyes can't quite zoom in there. On the left-hand side, where does it say that, like, how high does it start? Is it at least 5? It has to be at least like 5,000 or 6,000 feet at the start, right?
Oh man. No, it looks like it's right there around 5,000.
So it's still a Colorado race. So you're going to get some Colorado elements like elevation in terms of the altitude, but not necessarily elevation in terms of gain on the course itself. So that I find interesting. To me, I'm like, sweet. This is like literally on a track. This is
interesting to me. Yeah,
this is straight up on a track.
So and 5,000 feet of elevation, like altitude, you're not gonna, like, you and I can go out there and be fine. I believe.
Maybe not fine. If you believe it to be true.
Yeah, I feel like if we were going uphill, maybe, but a flat at 5,000 feet, I think you're not gonna. I don't know. Like, I think it doesn't really start affecting you till you get up to around 8K or 7K.
No. I have very limited experience in this, but I've done things at 5,000 and 6,000 feet, like in a town in Colorado, like not in the mountains, and like it affects you, and it's going to affect your pace no matter what. Just because, like, but for a Spartan race, you might not feel it the same way that we would feel a race like Utah or Tahoe, which is noticeably different. Like, I remember on the descent down from Utah, I could feel the air come back into my lungs. I was like, oh, really? There it is. Yeah, it got noticeably easier to breathe as we were going down. So you won't have this at this race. Like, it won't change based on the terrain of the course. But if you're coming from closer to sea level, this is going to be, it would definitely be a bit of an issue. Being a 5,000, I believe. But if your mind says no,
I've been out there to Colorado Springs a couple of times, running around just a town, like the park, and I did like a tempo run and intervals, and I didn't feel a difference. I didn't feel a difference when I started going up hills. That was the main when I started getting Ohio. But who knows? That was already a minute workout. This is an hour-long race.
That's true. And you saw that thing that the new On team did, that Dathan's coaching, where they did the first ever sub 4 mile in Colorado.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, that was
like a year ago, probably.
Yeah, like Joe Kleckler, something like that. He's running like the 5K or 10K. So no, I didn't take him.
You didn't pick him?
Nah.
Me neither.
No.
All right, so let's go through this course. So it looks like it starts straight up on the track. Like, this looks like a raceway. It isn't the Pikes Peak International Raceway, in fact. So
is this a NASCAR place? Because most NASCAR international speedways, a whole lap is usually like 2.5 miles. So this must be something else. Because the first mile you don't hit till you enter out of the stadium, and they're almost doing a whole lap around it.
It is almost a full lap, but and you would think that if they might not be running on, because if it is concrete, I doubt they're doing that. So they might be outside the track the whole time. Doesn't necessarily look like there's standings or anything. I don't know. This might just I have no idea what this is. It's some sort of international speedway, raceway. We'll ask Jack Bauer, see what he thinks. He'll give us the full breakdown of what it was, when it was built, what the top speeds you can get on this, and any type of specific car.
He'll answer every question besides the question that you ask. Yes.
We would get the answer, but we would get a lot of answers. So we're going through that, and I mean, this looks like what, a straight up half mile of running before you even get to overwalls, you think?
Oh yeah, probably, yeah.
This thing is going to be blazing fast. This is almost like a stadium at this point.
Yeah, especially if it's on concrete, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's gonna be flat. It has to be flat, like pancake flat on that part. Unless they do like throw some. These courses aren't really even that muddy. Unless the terrain is really nasty. I know it can be like kind of like some cactus and stuff in Colorado and all that. So maybe it's through some brush, but this looks really, really fast. So you got the overwalls and the 6-foot wall, and those are the only two obstacles in that first mile. And then you come up to hurdles. So we're still not really into an obstacle, a full mile and a quarter into the race. 4 is Atlas Carry, multi-rig, and then Z-Wall. So what do you think about the start here? We'll put that as like the opening gauntlet up through the first 6 obstacles. How would you approach this?
Oh, man. Me personally, I would probably just have to get out fast. It would be hard not to go out fast. None of these obstacles, if you're in shape, none of these. I mean, you got the multi-rig number 5, but none of these obstacles are really hard by any means. And then the Z-Wall's coming up quickly, and depending how many walls they have, you don't want to be stuck behind somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, I think it's enough time that I don't think it would be incredibly tight packed at this point. I think wherever your fitness is, you'll probably end up around this time. I would be I don't necessarily, I mean, it would be fast. You have to go somewhat fast. I'd be real careful about kind of going out in like some sort of red line here because the whole course is flat. So you can have time to kind of spend it later where like if this got nasty in like the hills in this back blue part in the actual super part, this was like the mountains, like it might stretch out and then like you might not have room to recover from this. But like, I think if people go out hot and you're fit, like you'll be able to kind of run them down later. I would really be pretty paced out pretty easily through this and just hope that there's lanes by Z-Wall. So you and I, we may come across this. We might meet later in this race. But what's after Z-Wall is bucket?
Bucket, yeah.
So do you think the bucket is going to be that loop piece and that you start and stop at that 7?
Yeah, it doesn't look anything too long. Probably like a minute long carry.
You think? I can't tell.
I'm zoomed in enough. It doesn't look that long. For me personally, I'm zoomed in. I mean, that looked like the same exact loop. It looks like a smaller loop that it did in Jacksonville. In Jacksonville, like a minute 40 carry.
Yeah, and who knows what the scale is to these things and if it's actually going to loop around that full big loop there. Yeah, I would imagine it would. But yeah, I mean, they just haven't been very, very hard on the carries this year, it seems. I mean, I haven't done any Spartan races, but I haven't heard anyone come back and say, oh, that carry was brutal at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and then you get a little gauntlet after that. You hit mile 2. You have 8, 9, 10, 11. What are those? Rolling mud. Oh, go ahead.
Real quick on this. Yeah. Okay. Let's go through those ones first. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's so where were we? Bucket, rolling mud,
barbed wire, dunk wall.
Dunk wall's back, baby.
Slip wall. No, but usually it's rolling mud, then dunk wall. You're going rolling mud, going through some barbed wire, then another dunk wall, then a dunk wall.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so that might be a whole mess. So like like if you're go through the rolling mud and then go through barbed wire, you're gonna be soaked, and this looks like dirt, sandy type of deserty stuff here. Yeah, that might be a mess. And then going back through to kind of wipe it off. I don't know. So and then you got the slip wall there. So looking at that, and that gauntlet has been at the end of the races a lot this year. And that's what makes the end of these races look really packed with obstacles. Cause look, it's like right there, it looks like there's 4 obstacles, but really it's like kind of one obstacle. Yeah. You know, like it's not like you're not doing anything different. You're just moving your way through a bunch of annoying stuff. that are always typically back to back to back. So it looks like it's a ton of obstacles, but not really. So with that, knowing that that's there and it's going to be a slower piece, right?
Yeah.
How do you handle the bucket? What do you do on the bucket here?
I mean, I feel like if you conserve energy on a carry, so these carries aren't long enough to really separate anybody, like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, maybe. I had the second fastest carry in Jacksonville, and I mean, that didn't really do anything. Yeah.
With undiagnosed ulcerative colitis.
Yeah. I mean,
the
I
fastest with that.
Yeah. But I think like 7 spots back, whoever had on that Strava segment was still only like 3 or 4 seconds behind me. So, and you have to put in a lot more energy to go faster on a carry. So this early in the race, if you're doing the super, I mean, you might just want to chill if your heart rate's already going kind of crazy. Because the rolling mud, I mean, we haven't done it this year, but the rolling mud, we just are getting it back. The rolling mud kind of zaps you a little. It zaps your quads, just like going in and out and crawling out of that mud.
I'm a big hater on the rolling mud. Not a fan whatsoever.
I'm not a fan of the dunk wall at all.
Because it's gross, because it's yucky, or because it's just gross.
I never want to put my head under mud water.
I honestly don't mind. I don't think of mud water any different than any other type of water, dude. The mud water at Palmerton, it like sits there all year, and like that's pretty gross. Like I run past it in training, and I'm like, oh man, this is rough. So you're saying at the bucket carry, no, just get through it. Right.
Yeah.
And this is in the second mile. So, and then you're going to come out of that and you're just going to have these. So you wouldn't want to be taxed going into the rolling mud and the barbed wire crawl. Because as they're like low output, I would say, but they're still kind of high energy demand. So like you don't necessarily catch your breath on those. And if you slack off too much on those type of obstacles, like you can lose some time. Okay. So you would chill on the bucket.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm with that. I think that's a good plan because it's so early and there's going to be a lot of running to do for me personally. It looks like there is the second mile mark is right before the rolling mud and all that. And then it's almost a full mile of running until you get to Olympus.
Rich, one second.
Yeah.
What's up? Yeah, but I'm off I was
can't pause. All right, we're gonna keep going. All right, let me yeah, no problem.
You're gonna go get the barbecue. Okay. They said, we need your help. I was like, I'm not working. I'll go help. And he goes, oh, yeah, you're not working. They forget. We
need your help. We need your help.
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
And can't pause during a live.
No, you can't.
Can't pause during live. So I'm looking at this, and there's like a whole mile from right before the rolling mud until Olympus. So I'm with you. I would chill on the bucket, and then manage the mud, and then run, and then be back. For me personally, where running to be my strong suit, I'd run, like get into a good effort and good rhythm here, so I can start going to our Olympus. It looks like it's pretty flat there, unless I'm sure the footing is going to be nasty. They always make it that way, but it looks like there's some flat running.
That's a long run. I mean,
almost a full mile.
For the starter, yeah, that's a long run.
It's gonna be at least 3/4 of a mile. At least 3/4 of a mile.
But it's looking like this run is all on like. Don't you see like these little kind of fire roads or like trails, kind of?
Yeah, it's hard to tell if it's following exactly. It looks like it's following it for some, but that that little loop there at the bottom that might go off trail. Because that'd be not Spartan like if they did it.
I feel like if it went off trail on, because here's the thing: this is still like a private property where people do racing, where they might park out there. It's probably somewhat, you would think, like kept up. Because I did the Michigan race at their international speedway, and their off trail was still like grass that was just mowed last week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. It could go either way, but it's not going to be hilly. So there's gonna be some running there, so I would definitely take. And then Olympus, just get through it. Bender, get through it. Olympus, I'm thinking of some different ways to kind of get through this at a race like this, where the conditions will most likely be dry, right?
Yeah.
I think that you can go feet up onto the platform and use the chains, because the chains have the balls at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's doable at a venue like this one. What do you think?
It's very doable. I haven't done Olympus with the new material on it.
It's hard.
Is it?
It's hard. Yeah. It's really hard.
Man, I haven't done Olympus since like 2019. So, because I was always a match the hole kind of guy. So, I don't know.
Well, what happens now is if you slip, like, would your feet be up on the wood?
Yeah, my feet are up. Was always up on the wood.
You almost can't do that now with Olympus because it's so slippery, and like it's pitched at a more steep angle. So when so you need to have the chains to like lean back far enough to get your feet up onto it. So like if you're gonna go holes, and the holes change positions, like some of them are a little bit lower. So if you're going, so now it's like holes and hand grips or just chains. And usually if you can't get your feet up onto it, you can't go chains at all. So you have to go grips or holes.
Yeah.
If you're going to go like knees, which is less than ideal.
Yeah. I've never used the chains, but I've heard those balls are pretty grippy.
Yeah. I mean, the balls are at the end of it, right? So you can just like kind of grab the chain and put your fist against it. So yeah, I would probably lean toward that. Like I did, the first time I did Olympus was in Tahoe, and it was super dry. There wasn't any balls at the end of the chains. It was at the top of the mountain. Went through it. It was so easy, easiest obstacle I've ever been through. And then I did it probably like my next race was New Jersey in then in the spring in the April race, and it was super wet and like just humid. And I tried to do the same thing. I slipped right off immediately on the first chain. I was like, well, I'm terrible at this. I was like, why? That was the New Jersey Beast in 2000.
Oh my gosh.
18, maybe 17 or 18. So get through Olympus, then Bender, no problem. And then it is pipe layer. So
very tough obstacle.
Nick, tell us the best way to get through pipe layer. So what's the secret through pipe layer?
Running start, head first dive in like a mermaid position, and then you just dive all the way to the bell.
So feet together. Are you moving like a mermaid through it?
Like a bird? Yeah, because it goes up and down. So you gotta.
That's true.
Go up and down with it. Yeah.
So kind of like if you can do like the fly in swimming, like kind of doing that, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Get through pipe layer.
No problem. Stairway to Sparta, no problem, especially for a super. And we are into the 3rd mile here. We got Twister back here. And then after Twister, it's some running. So this little stretch from mile 3 to mile 4, anything you would do, because that's when we're talking about Olympus through Twister. Anything you can do here, or are you just kind of getting through? Are you making a push, or are you just surviving?
I mean, usually around this time, you're holding on to your position. I think if you get off Twister, unless somebody fails the spear throw at the end, the positions are probably going to stay the same, most likely, because that's what Twister is. Obstacle 16?
16. Then we got beater,
and we do have beater.
There's a sandbag carry right at the end, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. So you're over halfway done with the race after Twister, because it's only a 10K, so you're over 3.5 miles in. I mean, positions are going to stay. You're going to want to get in that position you want to be in, I feel like, before Twister. So I feel like you need to make a push before that mile 4 marker.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, because I would make a push after Twister, from Twister to beater, because that looks like it's going to be one of the better stretches of running that we're going to have. Where is this big sharp downhill? That looks like there is some sort of downhill maybe around what we're talking about.
A big sharp downhill is, that's exactly what we're talking about, right? If those dots are obstacles, I think they are. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, mile 4. What's right before
right after
mile 4? That
60.
obstacle, Twister.
Yep. So
Twister.
yeah, so it's
So it looks
there's
like
just
mile obstacle 15 looks like there's a big stairway to Sparta. It looks like there's a big downhill all the way to a little past mile 4. It was almost like a mile of downhill if I'm reading this graph right.
so Twister's going to be facing down, right?
Yeah.
Looks like there's going to be a
Yeah.
downhill Twister. So Leah, it looks like
Yeah.
you go up from pipe layer to, it looks like it's a little bit of a hill there. And then that looks like it's like the top of the venue.
Yeah.
So, okay. So that's a good thing to mark. Stairway to Sparta, that's the highest you're going to go.
Yeah. I believe so.
Okay. So yeah, I would definitely really start running after Twister. I would be like, okay, it's time to go. Because it looks like you go around that bend and kind of comes back up a little bit until beater. So for me or anyone who's going to want to rely heavily on their running, I would mark this as a position to really kind of make a move. If you are someone who wants to hammer the carry at the end or just really see if you can make it through that, I mean, it's not really a gauntlet at the end. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to tell how long that sandbag carry is.
Yeah, but that'd be the only reason if you think you have if you're like in a good position here and don't want to give up anything and conserve a little bit for that, then that's where you're going to have to kind of make this choice, right? Like either sell out to get into a position where you need to be leading into the finish or just maintain knowing that you have just like the sandbag to really kind of hammer.
Yeah. I think since the spear throw is literally the last obstacle, there's no whatever position you're in, there's no on this downhill you should hold back.
Okay. So you think this is the mark? Okay.
This is like everybody has to get like if this is a big enough downhill what we're thinking, I feel like you need to sell your soul on this. Because if you don't, somebody can't catch you on that. So I'm gonna run back saying this is a position you'll stay in. I forgot there was this big downhill. If you stay conservative, I mean, very good chance somebody could get you on that if they're willing to take a risk.
Or someone could pull away. You know, people in front of you might really make. Yeah, I think this is the move. You got to go here. You really got to make this. And you're over 4 miles into. You have 2 miles left. And even like the mile from 4 to 5 isn't extremely busy. I mean, there's beater, which can be tough.
Wall. I mean,
7-foot wall, and then box. So that might slow down a little bit, but I don't know how much you're really going to gain or lose there. And then monkey bars is 20. So I kind of like how things are kind of spread out here. You know, I like that everything is not just jammed all together. Like it looks like there's some running in between most of the obstacles. I like this.
Yeah.
Then we have vertical cargo, inverted wall, A-frame cargo, all kind of right in a row. So again, those are all just no position changes. Where are we then? Then we got
cargo. We have the hoist. We have the hoist.
Helix.
I don't see anything. Yeah, helix, rope climb. I almost wonder if you're going to be this sandbag because you would think there are stadium steps right there.
Oh.
So they might do the sandbag up some steps.
That would be worth noting.
If they do go in the back of the stadium.
That's a good thought because if they are on steps, it's going to be hard to make passes here.
Yeah.
You know? So like if you had any inkling of saving anything for sandbag, you must just know what it's going to look like and if you can.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're anywhere between second and fourth here, or between first and fifth.
There we go.
There's no reason you wouldn't be in first.
Yeah.
On this sandbag, and it's like tight, right? You see people have been near you. Are you going to conserve energy on the sandbag for the spear throw, or are you just going to get to the spear throw and just be like, nah, fuck it. I hope this works.
Yeah, I mean, you're at the end of the race. There's no reason to conserve energy for a spear throw. That if you are a first through fifth person, I assume you practice your spear throw a lot, because you're in a position to win money. So you should be practicing your spear throw a lot. I wouldn't conserve energy on a sandbag just because, I mean, the race is over. You just got to hit the spear. It's a 5-second, 10-second obstacle. You just got to hit your spear and then you're done. If you have, I mean, you can take that time at the spear to catch your breath, but I wouldn't take a sandbag carry conservative just to get my heart rate down a little bit for the spear. That's me personally.
Okay, I like it. I mean, I would be the same thing. I mean, if you can't do well in the race if you're not going to put yourself in the position to do well in the race, right?
Yeah.
Like again, same thing. People might pull away from you at this point. Like if you're fifth and the second place person misses the spear, like you want to close a gap. You don't want to create a gap through the sandbag carry. So you want to be there to be able to push hard. So I'm with you. So just it's your last chance to really make any type of positional move and not worry about somebody and not need to have somebody miss the spear.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. And then you hit the spear, and then it's the
finish line.
Then it's the finish line. So what do you think about the course?
For a Colorado course, I mean, it's just different.
That's your thoughts?
That's it. It's just different. I mean, it's just like it's a flat race. Basically, there's one big downhill. I think this, if you ever want to compete at a Colorado race and you don't live in Colorado, you're not used to the altitude, you're not used to running in mountains, this would be a time to do something cool.
I'd be pumped about this one, but there'll be no reason for someone to go to this that wouldn't expect the mountains. Like they didn't know this was going to be this way until it came out. Like, yesterday. So a bit of a bummer, I'm sure, for a lot of people. But for me, I like the way this course looks. I don't mind these courses at all. They seem to be leaning pretty on like the flat side for a lot of their races this year.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of that tough mudder. Maybe there's a tough mudder course designer just getting in their ears. Like, what's way easier than dragging all this stuff through the woods, like on top of the mountain, not doing that and putting it on flat places.
Race site, at a NASCAR site.
People are like, that makes so much sense. Let's make our lives way easier and just collect that cash. Cool, man. Any other last thoughts on this thing?
No. Whoever I feel like puts themselves in position to win and you got to sell yourself in that big downhill and you hit your spear, you're going to have a good race, I think.
So Jack said, well, Jack's going. VJ will be there. Looked like Hosick was going to go. I think Kent is going to be
in Dallas.
Dallas. He's going to come on the sprint day.
Killian's going to be in Killian doesn't live in Colorado. Never mind. Right. Veerman maybe.
Veerman's coming on the sprint day. So, and there was John Howard who's really solid. So it'd be some
Johnny
good.
Johnny Lima.
I don't think he's doing this. I think he's in Europe doing some stuff, doing some trail stuff. And I have no idea who on the women's side. The women's field has just been freaking deep. No matter where the races are, no matter who's been running, like a lot of ladies have been showing out. So
yeah, maybe Callie Schweikart.
She'll be there for sure.
Well, she might be. Yeah, she's back in Colorado right now.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like the speculate. The speculating like this does no good to anybody. So we'll just leave it at that.
I might be out there. Who knows?
Yo, watch Riker, big booty Riker popping up. He'll be at a race one of these days. Maybe not. Who knows?
Maybe not.
Cool, dude. All right. Well, I appreciate you taking time.
Yeah.
If you're going after this race, I would say conserve the first mile and a half. Riker would say just gun it and just see what happens until the very end. But that's typically what that would be your review, no matter what the course looked like. So
honestly, it would be unless there was a huge hill.
Nah, you would still be like, just get to the hill and just see what happens.
Bombed out and see what happens.
Just nut up. Yeah,
you have to put yourself in position to win if you want to win.
This is true.
Yeah,
but my position would be like maybe like in fourth or fifth first, and let it, and then just kind of swing by again, and smash that downhill, and then be there when it comes down. Hit your spear, smash your sandbag, and ready to roll. All right, dude.
Yeah,
we're out.
All right, see you, man.